Hello, my name is Walter Milando, and this is a case study on malaria for my signature assignment for Dr. Foyle's class. The pathogen malaria is protist, which is a single-celled organism of the genus name Plasmodium. The most common species that affect humans are Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malariae. Finally, Plasmodium noelsi. These protists are transported or transmitted to humans by the female mosquito known as the Anopheles mosquito, which carries the virus. The males one do not carry. Um, the life cycle of Plasmodium involves both humans and mosquito hosts. Um, where the mosquito bites the human host, sporozoites enter the bloodstream and travel to the liver. Um, the liver, they multiply, but they multiply asexually to form merozytes, which are then released into the patient's bloodstream. Merozytes that invade red blood cells normally cause them to be destroyed. Um, they develop a thorough ring, which is called a trophozoite, and schizoid stages before it ruptures the cell, releasing new mesoites. Some mesoites turn into sexual forms and are taken up by the mosquito, which continues the cycle that shows the part of the mosquito also being part of taking more of the bacteria from the infected person when they are drinking their blood and giving it to another person, essentially. Here you can see a graph that shows the human and the mosquito there. The mosquito cycle is about 8 to 16 days. And you can see here the mosquito bites a person with the gamocytes in the blood. This is how the mosquito gets the bacterium that causes malaria in humans. And that's why it bites an uninfected person, but the mosquito bites an uninfected person, effectively transferring that gamocyte to the other patient, which is going to get malaria. And there's a little bit of an incubation period before it's visible in the blood, which is around 9 to 14 days. And in cases where it's not treated, it can lead to death. Transmission. Malaria transmission occurs, like I said earlier, through the bite of an infected Anopheles female mosquito. It can spread via blood transfusion, organ transplantation, shared needles, or mother and fetus during pregnancy, pretty much everything involving blood-to-blood contact. The Plasmodium species requires a specific environmental conditions to thrive, including warm temperatures, stagnant water sources for mosquito breeding. The pathogen cannot survive outside the host for extended periods. Prevention techniques include insecticides, mosquito bed nets, indoor residual spraying, antimalarial drugs that can be taken weekly, and eliminating standing water to reduce mosquito breeding sites. A lot of these uh, environmental factors are favorable in sub-Saharan Africa, which is why it's really, really big in Africa. Personally, I have had the disease before when I was a child, when I lived in Uganda, and it's really prevalent there as well as West Africa and South Africa as well. Um, Malaria symptoms include fever, chills, sweating, headache, vomiting, muscle pain, nausea. For me, I had a lot of nausea, and I remember a vivid memory of the room spinning, or the hallway was spinning, and I was walking to try and get water, and I couldn't hold any water down, which explains the vomiting. I, but I didn't. One of the other symptoms is diarrhea, which is what I didn't have, but there's some people who do have it that express that. These symptoms occur because the clinical rupture of infected red blood cells, releasing toxins, which prompts the immune system to react. Severe cases can lead to anemia, jaundice, cerebral malaria, organ failure, or even death. The mortality rate for P. falciparum malaria is significantly high, especially in children under the age of 5 and pregnant women in endemic areas, like I said earlier, of sub-Saharan Africa. Diagnosis and treatment of malaria. Um, Diagnosis involves blood tests because that's where it's released after it's incubated. The microscopic examination of blood smears, rapid diagnostic tests are the most commonly used method to discern whether they have malaria or not. Treatment depends on the specific species and the severity of the infection on the patient. First-line treatments include artemisinin-based combination therapies. Side effects of these treatments can be nausea, dizziness, and allergic reactions, which the person could likely be feeling beforehand. Um, while treatment can cure the infection, reinfection is possible if a new mosquito who's been another infected person and contracted the plasmodium goes over and bites that same person who just got healed. Um, it can also lead to some sequelae, which are uh, difficulties or damage caused by the disease, which causes other conditions and other diseases. The secondary conditions that can occur from that damage can be chronic anemia if left untreated for long. Demographics. Malaria mostly affects people, as I said earlier, in tropical and subtropical areas, with a higher amount in sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, South America, pretty much places that are near the equator, due to the tropical weather and humidity there, which allows for breeding of mosquitoes and for the female mosquito to uh, pass along the virus. In 2024, there were an estimated 241 million cases worldwide with 627 deaths, according to the World Health Organization. So it's still a very prevalent disease, and it's not in first world countries generally, mainly in tropical countries where you'd see all these cases. Um, in the US, malaria cases are primarily travel related from people who are visiting those tropical countries and coming back with the disease after being bitten and not taking the precautions to prevent that. AI models are being developed right now to um, improve the diagnosis of malaria through image recognition of blood smears, which are currently used now, and that would optimize what's already being done now so they can move through the process faster. That is my presentation. Here are some references, and thank you for your time.